In the previous video, we set up the Azure Synapse Link for Dataverse. We went to Dataverse, Azure Synapse Link, and we began seeing those tables synchronizing over. I can go back to this area and click on links, and I can now see the tables, and I can also see their sync status as they're progressing. Up at the top, I've got the Azure Synapse Analytics Workspace hyperlink. I can click on that. It's going to begin opening the Azure Synapse Analytics Workspace, and it immediately takes me to the Lake database. So I can see in here the tables and the partitions, and those partitions are hourly snapshots. So we have clean data being written there. We can do those select that top 100 rows or whatever we need to do. And if you're comfortable with writing SQL, this is an easy place to get started and be able to view the data that's there. I can minimize that so I can see all the data, the results coming in. Again, it's pulling it directly out of the lake and showing me how I can write a SQL statement against that data. Now, another way to do this is to then open it up in Power BI. So if I go to Power BI, if I click Get Data, I'll get the options of the different types of data points that Power BI can read from. If we click on Azure, the second item here is Azure Synapse Analytics SQL. Choose that and hit Connect. Now it's going to prompt me for the name of the SQL database. Let me show you how to find that. Let's go back to Azure Synapse, and I'm going to go down to Manage here on the left. So click on Manage, and the first option under SQL Pools is the built-in. I'll choose that, and the properties come up, and it shows me the Workplace SQL endpoint. I'm going to copy that. Take that copied list and go back to Power BI and paste it in as the server name. Click OK. It may prompt you for your credentials. If you've already opened it, it'll open directly to the server in the database, and you can begin selecting the items that you want. Again, I would suggest you use the partition. Those are hourly snapshots of the data, so they don't have any read conflicts, and they're also ensure that you've got a full transaction being written together there. But it's a nice way to grab that data. I can click those ideas and begin going to transform data and consuming that. Now, all the same principles apply for best practices in that you would want to make sure that you're only retrieving the data that you really need for your report. So most times I'm going to choose columns and say, I don't want every column. I want in this case for the territory, I want the territory ID and the name. And for this case, that's all I really need. Pull that in, and I can work my way through all the tables and make sure that I have a clean set of data to read from. Now, you may actually be more comfortable with writing a SQL statement against this. Doing this as a SQL statement to really fine-tune it as such. One way to do that and to maybe take a view from Dynamics that's comfortable to you or that's already predefined with the columns you need and bring it in as a SQL statement would be to use the XRM toolbox. Now, if you're familiar with Dataverse configuration, this is a tool that everybody uses. It's a tool provided by the community, by Tanguy Tizard from France. And Jonas Rapp from Sweden created one called Fetch XML Builder. It allows me to choose a view from Dynamics. So I would choose View. And the list of views show up, and I could choose any entities that I'm interested in. And within that, I can choose the system or personal views. In this case, I've already chosen a personal view, accounts with opportunities. And it shows me the list of columns that are pulled into that view that I'm seeing inside of Dynamics. But down below, I can see within that, I can choose OK, and then go to Convert, and show it as a SQL query. Now, it does show me this is a SQL query already, but one helpful hint is to use the Edit in SQL 4 CDS tool that Mark Carrington provided. By pulling it in here, it goes ahead and formats it nicely, as well as it goes and creates all the aliases that I need for ease of use in the query. So I'm going to use that. I'll hit Control-C, and I can then from that point forward go back either to SQL and go back to data. Let me close that. And if I choose this, oops, choose IV, and there's my query, and I can run that query and I get a simple result back. So again, that's really making that query very tight and clean as to what you really want to include in there. Now there's one piece that's not in here yet, and I want to show that to you in the next video, and that's the option sets or choices. When you have a choice value in your column or in your entity, the labels associated with that choice are actually stored in a separate table that we'll access. So this is the next step. We'll show it in the next video. But up until now, this is where you go to get all your queries set up and ready to run. And whether you're using Power BI or some other tool, this is a way to get those queries and exposing the data that you've already pulled into the Azure Synapse Workspace. I'm excited about the next piece. Look forward to hearing from you. Please leave a comment down below. And I look forward to working with you on the choice values in the next video.